All right, renting versus buying. Let's talk about this in the reality of what you're losing if you don't own a home. So, 10 reasons, we're going to go 10 reasons to buy a home, 10 reasons to rent. So, build equity over time. When you buy a home, you're going to build equity over time, regardless if you want to or not. It's just a part of the process over the last 50 years. Housing prices have increased 4% on average. So every year your house appreciates 4%. Uh, Great news. Okay, so that's the reason number one. Appreciation, wealth growth. So as the home appreciates, you pay down the mortgage, and then you get additional equity built in there. So it's two things that are happening. You're paying off the mortgage, and you're gaining equity by appreciation. So two ways to continue to build wealth through owning a home is appreciation. Predictable monthly payments. Yeah, on the mortgage side, generally people take a fixed rate mortgage, and you don't have to worry about the payment of the landlord knocking on your door and letting you know, hey, my rent's gonna increase. So they're predictable. Escrows are a little bit different, but we'll get into that. You can get into that in another video I've already put out there. So there's tax benefits to owning your own home, write-offs, etc. And controlling your own space. Nobody's going to come in and tell you what to do. You can make your own space, create it. You do what you want with it. Stability and security. Again, it's like your safe haven. That's the place you go where you feel safe, and when you're done with your day, you go home, and that's your little paradise, so to speak, where you can relax and enjoy yourself in your own space without having to worry about other people coming to your place and telling you got to pay them more, or you got to do this, you got to do that. So you can leverage your investment to do other things as you go through life. As you pay down the mortgage, you maybe want to do some home improvements. You can tap into the equity of the home to do that. Maybe you want to pay down some debts. You can tap into the equity to do that. Pay off some college tuition. Just an endless number of things you can do with the equity in the property once you've built some up, and it goes pretty quickly. Pride of ownership. Obviously, you own a home. Americans still want to own their own home. It gives them independence, and then legacy building, which is you can pass along to your heirs once you're no longer with us. So you can pay the house is paid off, and you can use it as a legacy for your family to either sell or move into, or whatever the case may be in your situation. So there are 10 reasons to buy a house, and I think the most important thing to remember on all these reasons is home ownership is still one of the best ways to build wealth in this country. So if you don't do it for any other reason, just do it for that. I mean, you know. All right, so let's get into the reasons why to rent. Flexibility to move. So renting just gives you the flexibility to move and pick up and go. Generally speaking, you can sign some short-term leases, and then if you need to move on to another place, that helps with when you're talking about renting a home. So lower upfront cost. You usually need a down payment. You don't need a down payment. You usually need first month's rent and security deposit. No maintenance costs. Typically, those when you're renting, the landlord supposedly takes care of your maintenance costs. I hear a lot of stories that doesn't happen. Predictable short-term expenses. It's an expense that you don't have to, that can go away. Your situation can change. You can move back in with some relatives, friends, or whatever, and that payment could go down. So, there's access to amenities. These places do offer some amenities because they're collecting so much money from all these renters. They can put up clubhouses and pools and things like that because of the amount of money they're collecting. So it does have some nice amenities there when we're talking about renting. In some cases, if there are a pool or other conveniences that the apartment complex or home offers. No property tax payments. Easier budgeting. Ideal for transitional, phases of your life if you're moving around a lot, or plan on moving to different locations over the next few years. Renting might be an option, and no market risk. So you can walk away once your lease is up. You don't have to worry about anything. So you didn't hear anything, and then the last one on 10 for the 10 reasons for renting is less responsibility. So if you kind of want to go through life and don't want to own anything or don't need anything, renting is going to be the way to go for you. But buying a home is going to be much more beneficial because it will also offer you opportunities to pay the home off and then buy other properties, or go on vacations more, or be able to have different options in terms of what you can do with that equity that you've built up in your property. And folks, once you're out of high school, and you start getting into life, life passes so fast that you don't even know. 10 years will go by, you don't realize it, and all of a sudden, if you look back and you own a home, you have all this equity. There's some things you can do. Maybe you want to start a business, but so buying versus renting is a no-brainer to me. You need to own a home. Renting, you're just paying somebody else's ability to attain wealth. Try it yourself. All right, James Waller, have a great day.